I guess we'll kind of rein it back a little bit because we really got carried away talking about the industry there, which was a great conversation, by the way. But going back to your early life and what kind of brought you into this industry and what made you who you are, you brought up earlier how you weren't a very well-behaved kid, it sounds like.
No, I got thrown out of high school.
Me too.
Yeah.
So why'd you get thrown out of high school?
Bump.
Let's go.
I got many things. I got caught smoking in the dean's bathroom, for one thing.
Nice.
Yeah, my friend Andy Kaplan with this giant, he was hiding in his trench coat. Like, think about it.
Oh, you were ripping a in the dean's bathroom.
In the dean's bathroom. It was Andy's.
And your friend came to school with a in his trench coat.
Yeah, Andy had a his trench coat. That would be the funniest thing.
Was he wearing this coat to class, or was it like in his locker or something?
I don't know. I just know you had the fucking trench coat. And you had the fucking.
So how did smoking in the dean's bathroom like come about? Do you just?
I don't remember who had the key, if it was me or him, but someone ended up with the key to the dean's bathroom. So we thought we would. I don't even know how any of us thought this was a good idea. But we went in there to smoke in the dean's bathroom, and we got caught.
By who?
The dean. Someone smelled it and told him, he came storming in.
Yep.
And that was a problem. That sucked.
So once that happened, did you get kicked out immediately? It was just like
not quite immediately. I remember. I don't because again memory hazy.
Yeah.
But I remember like at one point my guidance counselor told me that I think she was the one who made the final decision. Josephine Nadler. I made fun of her on social media a few times. I found her picture, and you never forget this shit, dude. She told me I would never amount to anything, and threw me out of school. I remember that.
Oh wow. Yeah, I definitely the stuff that my teacher said to me when I was young really stuck with me.
Yeah.
You know, like the negative and the positive. For sure.
I don't remember the positive. Just remember the negatives.
I had one teacher that was nice to me, and then I had quite a few that said similar things like that to me as well. Because, I also got thrown out of school, and then you got sent to what, like an alternative school?
Yeah, alternative school, but it was okay. I was in New York City, so I went to this cool school called Robert Louis Stevenson up on the Central Park West, and it was a bunch of burnouts and that kind of shit, and I got along with those guys great. In fact, my propensity to rebel made it where, I decided I was going to put on like a goody two shoes type image to the school, even though all my friends there knew. So we'd be out all night partying sometimes. You go back to school in the morning, and we'd stay out all night. We'd sleep at Washington Square Park or on a park bench or something ridiculous, and then go back to school the next day, and I would put on like a nice a sport jacket or something ridiculous. My friends all look trashed and they're all laughing, and I'd be keeping a straight face. And then I'd be going up to give a speech or something you have to do for class, and I would fuck it up because I'd been up all night. Yeah. And they'd start laughing at me. And I would turn to them and be like, don't laugh at me, guys. That's not nice. Just playing. Yeah. And the teacher would literally scold them. He's trying, and you're not. And I'd play along and be like, yeah, they're really not being like, I'm trying so hard, and they're not even trying. And they'd be like, dude, I'm going to fucking kill you after class, Kesselman. You're going down, motherfucker. I was like, don't threaten me. That's not nice. Yeah, dude, I had so much fun with them. And then after, they'd be like, you fucking bastard. But yeah, that was fun. So, yeah.
Just fucking with your homies like that. You know,
it was
good
fun.
side, you know?
Yeah, we had great sessions and great fun. So yes, I did in that second high school they sent me to, the last one. I did fine, went through that thing in New York City, and that was great. I had fun there at that school. I really did. It was fun. Because you got to be an adult, but yet you're only like 16, 17 years old. And you got to really live an adult life, you know? And back then, no one's IDing you at bars or anything. You're just fucking having fun.
Yeah, back then, doing anything but going to school was like lit.
Yeah. We had so much fucking fun. Okay, so I'll try to get what happened. All right. I don't know. At some point, I went to school. I went to university out there in New York, and I just realized that, like, dude, this is not for me. Like, I had to get out of New York. I was getting my ass kicked. I really was. And I was hanging out with some people that maybe I shouldn't be. But
you gave college a shot at least.
I really did. I gave it a real shot. But when I went to University of Florida in Gainesville, the cool thing about that was because of my family, I had in-state tuition, which was at the time $49.11 a credit hour. From memory, but that was so cool. My dad had gone.
Sounds pretty damn cheap.
It was. My dad had gone bankrupt, so I needed to do shit myself.
Oh.
And
what kind of business did your dad do?
They owned a sweater making factory. Really into sweaters. Yeah, which is the cool thing, because I learned all about making sweaters and the machines for it, which later on helped me so much when it came to rolling papers. So it was cool knowledge that I picked up working in that factory a lot. So I decided to go down to the University of Florida in Gainesville. I moved down there, and cheap tuition, different life, all that stuff. And while I was still in school there, that's when I decided I was going to live up my dream. My dream was to open up a head shop, because when I was a kid, and I've told this story a zillion times, but I have to tell it again. And the cool thing about telling a story is that in a way, when you tell it, you get to relive it.
Yeah.
I think that's why old people,
a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's why old people repeat the old stories over and over and over again.
It's fun for them.
It's because then they get to relive it for a moment, you know, which is the best part.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
I remember that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
See, for me, what I picture is the first time I ever saw a rolling paper in my life, the way I remember it, my dad was doing magic tricks with his rolling paper. I was like 5.
Okay.
And we're at my grandma's house, and he takes his paper and he would light it on fire and throw it, and it would just go and vanish. And we'd all be looking at it like, oh, and like I had that moment of realization, that moment of like, you know, like magic is real. Santa Claus is real. There's this whole universe out there, like Harry Potter style, you know? Back then, no Harry Potter, of course, but that whole thing of like, wow. So the only magic trick he knew was that, but it blew my mind and I never forgot it. So as we got a little bit older and I could go into smoke shops and things, I would always start collecting rolling papers. I'd buy different booklets, and the artwork of them was just enamoring to me. When I go into these cool little smoke shops and head shops and stuff, the people behind the counter were like, man, they were so fucking cool. They'd have long hair, they had tattoos, they had beards.
This guy looks different.
He's different, man. He was living a free life.
Yeah.
He looked happy. There's all this cool stuff in the store.
Yeah.
Funky, cool, weird shit everywhere. You know what I mean? Wow. And so I just looked at them and thought like, wow, I want to be that guy. I want to live that kind of life. Imagine owning that store. Oh my God, you would be free. Imagine how much fun that would be.
You could do whatever you wanted every day.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it seems like from the outside.
It did. It really did. So when I was still in school at the University of Florida in Gainesville, I opened up my first little fucking store. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I got it open. I also put my rolling paper
So you were
collection
juggling
online.
school and a brand new business at the same time.
But I didn't
That's
really
a
care about
lot.
school so much. I cared about the store more than the school. So I just kind of limped through the school part. It was the store that meant everything to me. A little tiny hole in the wall store about the size of this room. I think I was paying $450 a month in rent on it.
Wow.
Yeah, and I took one of my old motorcycles and I put it on the roof to make it look cool. And like I did the place up all weird and cool and funky. This is 93, 92, 93, something like that. And the store, I had no idea what I was doing, but people would walk in and they would say to me, oh my God, you're opening up a head shop? Are you going to carry dugouts, for example? And I didn't know dugouts were worth a shit. And I'd be like, yes, it'll be here in 2 weeks. What's your favorite one? And they would tell me which one their favorite one is. They'd walk out. I'd be like, I promise it'll be here in 2 weeks. I'll give you a huge discount. Just come back in 2 weeks, man. I got you. They'd go out. I'd hit the phones. This is before trolling the internet, you know? And I'd find someone who had it. I'd bring it into the store. They would then come in and there it would be. Because I knew if they wanted it, then probably other people did too. And I did that with maybe, I don't know, a couple hundred products to the point where the community built the store. So the store did really, really well because it was their store.
Everyone wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't pretend. I put my own shit in there too, but it was really what they wanted. And I started selling my extras of my rolling paper collection and trading with collectors in Europe to get more rolling papers in. And I found real fast that like back then, I would buy a pack of, I guess it's all right for me to say their name, like a pack of Zigzag Orange would cost me like $1 a pack.
Yep.
But I could only sell it for $1.25 because across the street from me was a gas station selling for $1.25.
Yep.
So
Can't
I'm making
compete any higher than that.
Right. So I'm making 25 cents on that pack. But then on these cool European packs, the dudes are basically giving me for almost nothing. They were just so happy
You
to
got
get
a wide margin on that.
the stuff was costing me like 10, 15 cents a pack.
Ooh,
And-
we're up.
Yep, and all rolling papers in the store were being sold for $1.25. So now I got some shit here that I'm making like over $1 on. I got the zigzags I'm making 25 cents on. Well, dude, obviously I'm business-wise, this is much better for me to go towards here, like the cool stuff. And this cool stuff had more leaves per pack often. The consumers I was giving it to, it was new and exotic. They told me how much they liked it better. So everybody's winning except for the large tobacco corps, you know?
Yeah.
And I just, wow, this is great. And I was able to bring in more and more rolling papers. And I was having so much fun, you know, because I love rolling papers. And that was cool until my store sold to the daughter of the United States Customs Service.
I read about this online. This is nuts.
Yeah.
What an unlucky situation.
Unlucky situation. Shit
So
happened.
tell me about that. How'd that play out?
It played out where my store sold to the daughter of the local customs service head of
Okay.
the customs guy. And he was pretty fucking pissed off, really fucking pissed off. And he came in, helmets on, guns, the whole thing, door flying open, one of them was wearing an American flag t-shirt. I remember what an insult that was. And they came in and did a full-on raid as if I was like that guy.
Like they kicked the door into your store.
I'm
SWAT
down on the
team
ground
and
with the machine
everything,
gun, the whole thing.
and you just got some rolling papers and like some wall
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yep. Dude, they were pissed. But like they were jocked, you know what I mean? Like
I couldn't imagine operating a smoke shop that early in the game. It was probably a whole different ballpark.
it
back
was.
then,
You were worrying about them.
legality-wise.
You're always worried about those guys coming in, but they would do it. It was so rare that they would do a thing like that. But my store just got unlucky one way or another. And I had a bunch of stores at that point, and they did a full-on huge fucking raid. I had to take a felony hit, federal felony too, so you can never really get rid of that shit.
What was like the actual charge?
Interstate transportation of paraphernalia, namely.
Does not sound good.
No.
That does not sound good.
No. It was fucking awful.
What happened from that, like court-wise? What was your sentence?
Oh, I think I got like 5 years probation. I got like house arrest and shit like that.
You avoided jail.
Yeah, avoided actual jail.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
Wow.
I got lucky as fuck. It was there's a whole shit happened. It was a fucking shit. It was such a bad time in my life. I thought I had this disease where I was gonna die, but that's a whole nother story. It fucking sucked. But I got out of there. Wait, let me tell you something cool.
Okay.
Whenever I tell this story, or whenever I relive this story, I have to remind myself, and by doing so, I remind you, that happening, although it sucked, was one of the luckiest things that ever happened to me in my life. For real. If they hadn't done that, I was really happy in my stores. Like, Nick, I fucking loved them. I kept.
It sounds like you were really passionate about
it. I like people a lot. I grew up very lonely, so now I had friends all the time. I'm in the store. You're gonna walk in there. I'm gonna talk to you, and if there's not many people there, dude, I'm gonna keep you in there for a fucking hour, building a for you myself, taking metal hand pipes back to each other, correcting it over and over again. Hey, do you like it a little longer? How do you like your smoke? You want a chamber on it? Wait, it might leak here. Let me put another O-ring on there. And I'm sitting there doing all this because I don't want you to leave, dude. You're my buddy. Don't go. Hang out. Wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would build pipes and shit for people until eventually it was the ultimate pipe, and they'd walk out and tell their friends like,
playground.
Right. And these guys would be like, dude, that guy Josh, he's fucking sick, dude. You walk in there, he's gonna build you the perfect pipe. He kept me in there for a fucking hour. We're talking about. Eventually, we built the one that really matched my smoke. This guy's amazing. So I was happy. I kept the store open 24 hours. So like if I woke up at 3 a.m. or I was out late, I could stop by the store and fucking do my thing and hang out with people, you know? So I wouldn't have left. I'd still be there right now. I wouldn't be on this podcast. Raw wouldn't exist. It would be the butterfly effect going down a different road if the feds hadn't done that to me in the 90s. But they did.
Shout out the feds for that one thing.
Yeah,
only that one thing.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.